most people are attracted to demonic personalities.
The reason why we attract demons, or we're attracted to demons, and this is a segue because she does an excellent job of explaining it, it's because whoever raised you has that Jezebel spirit within them. Whether it's mom, dad, grandparents, an adoptive foster parent, somebody around you, near you, who raised you possesses that Jezebel spirit. They're narcissistic or full-blown narcissist, psychopath, sociopath. See, when you're raised by someone like this, they set you up to fail in life and in your relationships. Their behavior is normalized in our childhood, so we gravitate towards those who have the same behavior and personality types. Thus, this is the reason why you continue to attract toxic friendships and lovers. Your parents are sadistic.
So what they see is your star. Your star in the realm of the spirit tells demonic or dark forces, even people of light, prophets can see different things about you, because they, prophets, or we're able to see in the realm of the spirit. We're called seers. You understand what I'm saying? Different things that may have happened, but also the things that God has built you with and sent you to this earth with. We can see different things like that. So it will hold, a lot of times they will be able to see your purpose, things about your destiny, the giftings and talents that you have been given, your vitality, the brightness of your star tells them a lot about you. It means that you are what we call a fervent star, meaning a burning bright one. You understand? So the enemy's job through the narcissists and toxic individuals is to shut you down. You understand what I'm saying? I need you to get this, because it's not so much as you haven't healed and you haven't become whole. That can be the problem sometimes, but you will never stop attracting them. Even when you do heal and become whole, they will still be drawn to the fervency and the brightness of your star. Because most of you that are watching this video, you're givers. That means that you have the gift of charity, which means that you're marked for wealth. Okay. So if you're drawn, if the Lord has drawn you and you're marked for wealth, what is wealth going to do? If it's in your hands, it's going to help build the kingdom of righteousness on earth. The enemy can't let that happen. So the enemy has to get you. And most of us, and you all watching this video, guess what happened? The way that the enemy opened you up to receive toxic people in your life, most of you have suffered childhood traumas. Okay. That's the thing that you and the narcissist, and those of us that have dealt with narcissists, that's the thing that we hold in common. Most of us hold in common. And that's why you feel like you're connected, or you all have a lot of things in common. But it's not that. It's just the fact that you've suffered some of the same traumas. Okay. I'm teaching on this video. This is teaching like what I do on Thursday night live streams. But I'm going to teach on this one because I want as many people as possible to get this. Okay. So you just suffered the same type of traumas. Now you've decided not to actually allow the enemy to destroy your life, but the narcissist gave in to the trauma. So they gave in to the false self, to the ego, and the demonic forces that teaches them how to cope with what they experienced. So all that being said, okay, you never related to the narcissist. You thought you did. Some of you all thought you had a relationship with the narcissist. You didn't. How can you relate to that level of evil? How can you relate to someone that you don't know? Because the narcissist doesn't allow you to get to know the essence of who they are. You didn't even really know yourself. You know what I'm saying? You didn't love yourself. Because if you did, how would you allow someone to abuse you that way? Exactly. So what the narcissist knows by way of demonic intel is that you have a bright, fervent star. Okay. They know what you look like in the realm of the spirit. So they come to shut you down. All right. So it's not just, and the devil is a liar, because what happens is there is no process of a shutdown that can be greater than the Holy Spirit that resides in you. How is the enemy going to shut you down? I need to understand that. How is he gonna, I mean, you might be wounded. You might be knocked back a couple of steps, but how's the enemy going to permanently shut you down? It will never, ever happen. Understand that. And that's why you all were able to bounce back from that thing. But it's not so much as you never healing and becoming whole. You need that because you need to be able to institute boundaries for this bright, beautiful star that you are. You understand what I'm saying? That is necessary. But even when you become whole, even when you become healed and whole, narcissists are always going to be looking for you, because it's not just the narcissists and the toxic people. It's the spirit that they carry those spirits are always going to be looking to shut a soldier like you down. What your star tells them in the realm of the spirit is that you have the power of influence. You have the ability to lead a people. And the reason that they keep showing up in your life and you keep entertaining them, watch this. We're getting ready to pivot. Y'all hit that like button and subscribe, please. Let's pivot. The reason they keep showing up and you keep engaging with them, okay, is now they can show up and you not engage. But if you're still engaging with them, the reason this is happening is God is trying to show you something about yourself. Anytime you fail a test, the Lord is so gracious that he will allow you to continue to take that test until you pass it. But if you keep on engaging with them, it's because of the immaturity and you not understanding and the ignorance of who you are in the realms, in the dimensions of the spirit. See, those people that's engaging with you, they know how bright your star is. You just don't know it yet. Okay? That's what that is about. You just don't know it. So you keep engaging with toxic people and narcissists, and God keeps allowing you to go through that process because he's trying to draw this thing out of you. He's trying to help you to see that, listen, you need to stop relying on them. Come out of that codependency and come to me is what God is saying, so I can heal you and make you whole, because greatness is who you are. Greatness is what is inside of you. And I got you. You have to learn this lesson, because there's an army of people that I have waiting for you to lead. Hear me when I say I'm teaching and I'm preaching to somebody. This right here is going to prophetically hit somebody's soul. There is an army of people that are waiting for you to become healed and whole, so that you can show them how to battle in this end time. Come on here, somebody. You can show them the ropes and how it's done and how they can take their power back. You have been designated. You have been sent to a people. So in order for you to be able to lead them, you have to be whole yourself. And what God is saying is, listen, stop leaning to your own understanding. Stop leaning to the understanding and the codependency of others. And listen, come to me so that I can heal you and make you whole. That when you realize that, you'll stop going in the toxic patterns and cycles. You will trade the cycles for seasons. Oh, I'm teaching right here. You will trade the toxic patterns and cycles of what these demonic entities bring into your life. You will trade them off, the toxic patterns and cycles, for the seasons that the Most High will take you through. Oh, I feel like I'm speaking to the heart of somebody right now. I feel like I'm speaking to the heart of.
This is for the person who feels like they always attract narcissists, toxic people, manipulators, users. I get it. Me too. I know it's exhausting, but it doesn't really matter who's attracted to you. What matters is what you allow and who you choose to form connections with. You're pretty great. So why wouldn't someone with a pattern habit of taking the best from other people not want to tap into your amazingness? It only makes sense. The flame attracts the moth, the honey attracts the fly, and every hidden treasure like yourself is bound to pique the interest of some thieves. You needn't focus on that, because if they're the only ones you notice, they'll quickly become the only ones you see. Instead, try focusing on becoming or remaining the person who's resilient, yet open, compassionate, yet correcting, childlike and innocent, yet wise and mature. Focus on being so secure in yourself, in your path, and all the goodness you possess that those toxic folks, those users, manipulators, they either recognize from a mile away that they don't stand a chance, or they're so obvious it's laughable. Either way, you're covered, and a lot more available to notice the great people that are already all around you. Boundary up. I hope this helps.
You ever wonder why you keep attracting people who are either unhealed or they have like a lot going on, or you feel like they're sucking you into their chaos? Let me explain what's actually going on. What's happening is that we attract what we allow. It's similar to how kids know they can get away with certain things if they're like with their mom, but when dad's in the house, they know they can't get away with those same things. It's the same thing for the people in our reality. They're just reflecting back to us where we have weak boundaries, or where we are allowing certain things or letting certain things slip, maybe because there's a fear of being alone, or there's a fear of not being loved and accepted. So a lot of people make excuses for their family, their close friends that they maybe grew up with, their partner, the person that they're in a relationship with, because they don't want to challenge those individuals. They don't want to create conflict. They don't want to maybe even let some of these people go. And they would much rather have a person who's bringing energetic discord. On your spiritual journey, there will come a point in time where you have to be honest with yourself about whose vibration is no longer a reflection of the type of person you want to be and the type of reality you want to live.
Keep attracting narcissistic guys. A lot of my female clients, they always tell me they keep attracting the same cycle of relationships again and again. You have to always ask yourself, who am I being that keeps attracting these narcissistic guys? What energy am I giving off that keeps attracting these narcissistic guys? If I were the kind of person who doesn't attract narcissistic relationships, who attracts healthy relationships, who would I be? The behaviors that attract narcissists are, I believe, not having the right boundaries. You're always caving into their way of doing things and their way of being. You don't have your own world, and you never communicate clearly what you want. Because what happens is, even though you might not bring in a natural narcissist, when you get into a relationship with that person, they become narcissistic because you're so polar in the other pole of the energies. Every single relationship tends to evolve in a direction where it's influenced by how you are, which brings your partner to the opposite pole. The being influences the doing, and once the doing is correct, the right having will follow. The right relationships will follow. And usually the doing is typically you having the right sense of boundaries.
Empath, you tend to attract toxic, negative, and even narcissistic people who drain you of your energy. Why is that? Okay, 2 reasons. Number 1, as an empath, you absorb negativity from other people. You're highly sensitive. Okay, and when you absorb negativity from them, they feel better because it goes from them to you, right? Number 1. Second, when that happens, okay, it lowers your vibration. Because you might be feeling calm, peaceful, or just, centered. Next thing you know, out of nowhere, you're in the grocery store, because someone's feeling anxious, or a friend calls you up, and they're feeling anxious. Next thing you know, you're feeling it. They're feeling a little bit better, and you're taking it on. Next thing you know, you're overwhelmed. You're stressed. You're frustrated. You're anxious. Because you're taking on energy that's not yours. And when you do, it lowers your vibration. Now, you're in a vibration where more people who can drain you can find you, because like attracts like. So the more you absorb, the more it drains you, the more they find you, because you're showing up in their vibration. Okay? And the solution to that is to learn how to protect your energy. When I learned how to protect my energy, everything changed overnight. Okay? Because if energy can affect you, guess what? Okay? You can also learn how to protect yourself from it, and also clear it once you have it. Because sometimes it's too late. You forget to protect yourself. You already have it. There's a way to clear and release that energy so it's no longer holding you back. And that's why I'm doing a free 3-day event.
Why you keep attracting the same toxic people into your life. Hi, my name is Lily, teaching you how to blossom into your power. The reason you keep attracting toxic people into your life is because on a subconscious level, you believe you deserve it. You believe you deserve a liar, a cheater, a person that betrays you, a person who doesn't stick around, because somewhere maybe down the line when you were a child, you experienced some type of trauma that made you believe, this subconscious belief, that you don't deserve better, that you don't deserve more. So you keep picking people, situations that you normally see in the beginning. You know that statement, I saw this coming. I knew this person was going to do this. Why didn't I listen to my intuition? Because you truly picked them knowing they would confirm your belief. Sis, change your subconscious mind, change your belief system, change your life. Follow for more tips.
Thing is, when you sleep with them, there's a spiritual transference that happens with narcissists, and you know the destiny swap that happens. So you won't even feel like yourself. You'll actually start to feel like a narc. I'm working on a live right now called the Destiny Swap, how the narcissist stole your destiny. So if you guys want to know about that, please follow me, because I'll be doing that soon, probably like in another few days or early next week. I'm going to be teaching on that. Because there's so many people that don't even know. It could be 5-10 years later, after they've divorced the narc, after they're not even in a relationship with the narc. They're like, why is it that my life has not been restored? God, I'm doing everything. I don't know what happened. And then they have spiritual attachments that has come from that relationship and is still active. For example, I tell this story a lot because this just happened to me earlier this year. I was reflecting on my life and how people was turning on me, and I didn't understand. And I said, God, why all these people keep turning on me? And God said, you have a spirit of Judas that's attached to you. And I said, God, I don't betray anybody. I don't go against. He said, no, you don't. But you had that spirit from when you was 5 years old, when your mom lied to you about who your father was. And when you married the narcissist years later, that spirit was activated. And so even though you guys are divorced, I never came out of agreement with that spirit because I didn't know I had it. And so it was following me, attaching me to people who had that Judas spirit, just like all narcissists have the spirit of Judas, because they betray you from day one. From the moment they shake your hand and smile and say, hi, my name is, they're betraying you because they've been lying to you from the very beginning. They never tell you about who they are. They never share what their true intention was, because if they told you that they was going to ruin your life, you would have never got with them. That's why they lie. And even after the whole love bombing, you in a devaluation phase, those people try to take you out and smear your name and everything else. Because it's like, oh, you think you're going to get away and you're not going to be harmed? Now you know who I am. You saw who I am behind this mask. You think you're just going to be out of here free? No, I'm going to destroy you. That's how they are. That's how they are. So when you think about that, you have to look at what you've come into agreement with.
Do you want to know the number one reason why you keep getting in one toxic relationship after the next? Take a good look at your mother, your father, and your grandparents. Whoever you were exposed to throughout your entire childhood, take a very good look at them. Somebody in your family are narcissists. It might be your mama. If your daddy was not there, then maybe your grandfather, your uncles. Who in your family is narcissistic? Because let me tell you about narcissists. They are very sadistic. They love to see people tortured and in pain, even if it's their own children and kinfolk. Those very same people that raised us had an obligation to teach us how to identify narcissistic people so that we can avoid getting into relationships with them. Why didn't our family members protect us and teach us all this? Because they secretly want to see us fail. Yes, your mama and daddy are jealous of you, and they're secretly happy that your relationships are falling apart.
Because you're worried about why do these men go for toxic women. You need to appreciate the fact that he's showing you the type of woman that he actually likes, because he may find comfort in toxicity. And so if he finds comfort in toxicity, it doesn't matter what it is that you do. If you're not toxic, if you don't have these unruly behaviors, he won't find comfort in you. So appreciate the fact that he's showing you exactly who it is that he wants. Don't worry about who it is that he's going to. If you know that you are a good woman in your heart, if you know that you're not a toxic person, there is a man out there that who will find love and comfort in you. It's so the problem is that in that toxicity, that's a screamer. If you see that a man goes for a woman who's toxic, is screaming a lot about him, because he may identify love as pain. So if you don't bring pain into the relationship, he may question if you actually love him. If he doesn't have chaos, he may not be able to attach security with you not creating chaos. He may find security in chaos because he may have come from a household where he got screamed at or yelled at, or he's seen chaos or abuse. And if you don't give that, he may always question if you actually love him, if he's worthy of the love that you give. So appreciate that. Just ask yourself, where is it a man who actually will love me for being who I am, not having to be pretentious and be toxic for love. The biggest issue is not that person, it's you, okay? If you are still attracting people who are toxic, maybe you need to look within yourself and see why you're still attracting that type of person.
If you are in a toxic relationship, it is because you are toxic inside. You cannot attract a toxic partner if you don't first treat yourself in toxic manners. Look at the way that you eat. Look at the way that you speak to yourself. Look at the way that you think. Look at what you see when you look at the mirror. Look at what you say to yourself when you put on clothes and you don't feel beautiful, or whatever the case may be. Look at how often you compare yourself to other people because of what they have or how they look. All of that is toxic. All of that is disconnection from love. If you are in a toxic relationship, it is because you are toxic inside. You cannot attract a toxic partner if you don't first treat yourself in toxic manners. Look at the way that you eat. Look at the way that you speak to yourself. Look at the way that you think. Look at what you see when you look at the mirror. Look at what you say to yourself when you put on clothes and you don't feel beautiful, or whatever the case may be. Look at how often you compare yourself to other people because of what they have or how they look. All of
Ladies, let me ask you a question. Are you there because you love him too much, or because you love yourself too little? A lot of you guys keep saying, I'm only there because I love him, but you don't love what he does. You don't love him cheating on you, disrespecting you, treating you like a narcissist, being toxic. You don't love that for real. Sometimes it's because you don't love yourself. You don't think you deserve better. So you settle for this mistreatment because you don't think somebody gonna love you the same way. I need you to start dating with your self-confidence, not your self-doubt. Ladies, let me ask you a question. Are you there because you love him too much, or because you love yourself?
A lot of people, they can't find their people. They can't find their significant other. They can't find their best friends because they are so disconnected to who they are that they spend their time chasing people that have nothing in common with them because they don't like themselves. When they meet people who are a reflection of who they truly are at their core, and people who they can relate to, who they probably are better off being with because they actually have things in common with them, they don't like that person because that person represents the things that they don't like within themselves. They don't want to date someone who has the same interests as them because they find their interests too nerdy or too weird or too much for the other person to comprehend. You have to start liking the things about yourself that might be considered a little bit weird or might be considered a bit too much, so you can actually meet people who share the same point of view as you. How are you going to find someone who respects your feelings when you don't even respect yours? When you are feeling anxious or when you are feeling sad, you try to repress those feelings. You think they're too much, so as a result, you will find people who think they're too much. Because what happens when you actually meet someone who represents you, who has things in common with you? You run the hell away because you don't like you. But when you do like you will find people who represent exactly what you need because you have things in common, and those people who you're chasing, you don't.
Oh my God, girl, I can't believe this keep happening. There are 4 reasons why you keep attracting a narcissist. Say this post for later. Right to it, girl. Number 1, you wear your heart on your sleeve. You put everybody else's needs before your own. Number 2, you attractive. And I'm not talking about physically attractive. People just naturally gravitate towards you because you a vibe and a whole mood. Nothing wrong with this, boo. We just need to learn how to vet them energies at the door. Excuse me, sir, who are you? Checking IDs, we doing all that. Number 3, big one, you're an empath. Yeah, you naturally sensitive to other people's energies. When you feel that narcissist pain, you automatically jump into action. You begin to nurture, support, encourage, uplift. You do it all, baby. And no. We can't do that for everybody. Number 4, you let stuff slide. And I'm not even just talking about with the narcissist. You let stuff slide with everybody. You be like, I'm just let that go because, that's just how they was raised. They don't know no better. Sus, no. Stop letting stuff slide. Enough is enough. Look, I heard you. You tired of attracting toxic people. You need help and the resources available to you. I have a new group coaching class that's beginning. Oh my God, girl, I can't believe this keep happening. Here are 4 reasons why you keep attracting a narcissist. Say this post for later. Right to it, girl. Number 1, you wear your heart on your sleeve. You put everybody else's needs before your own. Number 2, you attractive. And I'm not talking about physically attractive. People just naturally gravitate towards you because you a vibe and a whole mood. Nothing wrong with this, boo. We just need to learn how to vet them energies at the door. Excuse me, sir, who are you? Checking IDs, we doing all that. Number 3, big one, you're an empath. Yeah, you naturally sensitive to other people's energies. When you feel that narcissist pain, you automatically jump into action. You begin to nurture, support, encourage, uplift. You do it all, baby. And no. We can't do that for everybody. Number 4, you let stuff slide. And I'm not even just talking about with the narcissist. You let stuff slide with everybody. You be like, I'm just let that go because, that's just how they was raised. They don't know no better. Sus, no. Stop letting stuff slide. Enough is enough. Look, I heard you.
Why you're attracted to toxic relationships and how to break free. Hey, it's Brett Parker. I help smart, independent women attract their ideal match and create thriving relationships. So if relationship drama feels like home to you, then this video is for you. If you keep attracting men who are toxic or get into situationships or relationships that are toxic, listen up. So the big mistake here is mistaking chaos for intensity, right? If things are chaotic, then you think that your love must be intense, that your connection, that your chemistry, that your passion must be intense. And sometimes they go together. You fight big and you make up big and whatever. But that's not how you want your relationships to feel on a regular basis. If you repeatedly find yourself in dramatic or unstable, unhealthy relationships, then it probably goes back to a feeling that was created for you in childhood that was unstable. That finding love for you, looking for love, was unstable, was chaotic. Maybe your home was chaotic. Maybe you never knew where your dad was, or your mom was, not nice to you when you were a little girl. There's a lot of that. I talked to a client yesterday and she was getting triggered by the same emotions that she had previously with another guy. She said it's the same shit all over again. I said, that's because that's your vision of love. That's how you grew up perceiving love. So your concept of love was created for you as a child. So if you grew up in a chaotic situation, then you're going to equate love with chaos, which is why you keep attracting these toxic guys. The thing to do is, first of all, be aware of it. Second of all, to know that love is calm. Love is peaceful. That doesn't mean that it's not occasionally intense. Of course, that's wonderful. But on a general basis, on a regular basis, it should be calm. It should fulfill you. It should fill you up and add to your life. Hope that helps.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but there is a reason why you keep attracting the same men every time in your life. There's a reason for it. See, people don't just come into our lives coincidentally or magically. There's a reason why people come into our lives. The reason why someone is actually meant to be in your life. Because there's a reason why you keep attracting those men. Is it lack of boundaries? Is it lack of self-esteem? What is it? I don't know. You need to figure it out. But there's something that you are lacking. And that is the reason why you keep attracting people like that, who also lack things, who lack the most important things that you really want in a partner.
So here's why you attract people with all of the drama, trauma, and chaos in the world. If you find that you are constantly attracting people in your life who you think are healthy and you think are stable, only to find out that they are full of problems, you're going to want to listen to this. Hi, I'm Phyla Antwine, an award-winning life and relationship coach for Black women and women of color. I teach you how to make self-care a sacred practice, how to prioritize your own emotional needs and put them first, and how to create healthy relationships. And if you're one of these women who constantly attracts people who have problems to be solved and problems to be fixed, it's because you are operating from a root wound. You experience some level of trauma, some level of toxicity, or some level of dysfunction in your life growing up. You may have been abused, neglected, or abandoned, and you waited, wanted, and needed someone to come save you, someone to come help you, someone to come fix and solve this problem for you, but they never came. So as an adult, you have a deep desire to help people. You want to make people better. You want to save people from their own situations and even save people from themselves. Fortunately, it leads to you bringing in lots of stray cats. People with problems who are bigger than you and bigger than them. People who don't want help, but they just want pity, and so they complain and never change. And people who suck the life out of you until you really have no more to give them. And the way that you resolve this is by saving yourself. Go back to the root of your trauma and heal it from the core. Once you are no longer operating from a place of lack, from a place of not enoughness, and from your internal wounded inner child, you can begin to show up as your grown woman self. You can begin to operate from an adult mentality, and you'll begin to vibrate at a higher, healthier level, which will attract people into your life who do not need you to fix them.
I don't know if it's me or the men I choose. I don't know, but everything that I get into doesn't work. Or I always run into these manipulative men. I don't know, maybe I make it that way. I really wish you would see this because I need you, girl. I saw it. It's you and them, but it's primarily you. Manipulators know who to prey on. They know exactly who to target. There's something that you were showing where they were easily able to identify that you're easy to be manipulated. They identify your weaknesses and your vulnerabilities. Usually in the first conversation, they can do so, and they'll exploit those. How? Well, hopefully this allows you to do some type of introspection and really take a deep dive into your behaviors or some things that you probably need to work on. First things first is they test your empathy. They may come in, play victim, lie, exaggerate stories, exaggerate distress, just to see what your empathy levels actually are. They'll also shower you with attention and affection. Then when you take the bait, boom, gotcha, because they see that you're easily flattered. They pay attention to your insecurities, to your past traumas, and your fears. And they gain all of that information and they use it against you later. Especially if you're an open book. If you're one of those people, as soon as you meet someone and you're like, I'm an open book, yeah, they got you. They'll also try to isolate you from friends. And if you're one of those people who allows yourself to be isolated from family and friends, then they know you're easy to manipulate. So if they're able to call you at any given second and you drop everything that you're doing, or you start spending all of your time with them and you start ignoring or canceling plans with families and friends, easy for them to target you. They test your level of dependency and see how easily isolated you are. They'll also gaslight you. And if they can gaslight you once, then they can gaslight you again. And if you are operating in a place of low self-worth, then they can tell if you're easy to gaslight because you won't trust your judgment. They'll also test your boundaries. So if your boundaries are a little too loose, if you're willing to bend your boundaries because they guilt trip you or things like that, they know they can cross your boundaries. So they'll definitely test it. And one way they can tell that you have low self-worth, they'll pay attention to see if you discount or discredit yourself. How you show them you do that? You minimize your achievements, you minimize your accomplishments, you compare yourself to others often, and you talk negative about yourself. Someone gives you a compliment and you say, oh, I just pieced this together. Or someone compliments your accomplishments, really? Oh, I don't know how I passed that. That lack of confidence shows exactly the spaces where they can manipulate and break you. And then they see exactly where they can gain control and power over you. So I know you want to be able to point the finger and say, why do these men keep on manipulating me? But baby, the problem is really you. You need to do some inner work. I hope that gives you something to work with. I wish you all the best. Happy healing and happy, healthy relationships. Bye, babies.
Your thoughts consistently play tricks on you. They consistently show you that you are sad, you're depressed, and you start getting attached to the negative emotions. The reason being is because your past hasn't healed. And when you're not healed, all the trauma and the difficulties and pain comes up by showing you those kind of people who have hurt you in the past. They keep coming back in different faces, in different people. And until that is healed, you keep seeing that pattern consistently. So the one way to change that is to heal yourself.
The real reason you met the narcissist is spiritual. The truth is that the adversary, the devil, Satan, the enemy, knows the blueprint of your life. And if he cannot kill you physically, he will send you someone to severely delay you, severely distract you, severely cause an impact in your life so great that it will take you off the path that you're supposed to be on. What path were you on before the narcissist came into your life? Really think about that. The narcissist is sent to distract and delay you from the path that you are actually supposed to be on. But it is not too late, because through this knowledge, and you have to remember, scripture says that through knowledge will the just be delivered. Through this knowledge, the knowledge that you're gaining, you are actually realigning yourself to your destiny. It is never too late. It's not too late to get back on track. But you have to leave the narcissist alone. They cannot come with you, and they will never change. All right? Bye.
Now, it may not surprise many people to know that getting into toxic relationship after toxic relationship is usually a sign of some degree of trauma. And a lot of people assume that it's because, well, that's what they know. That's what they're comfortable with. And that definitely is a factor. But recently, psychology has found a probably stronger driving force behind these people who seek out people who are clearly bad for them. Now, again, the factors that drive somebody's attraction to an individual are complex, nuanced, and there's never going to be one factor that drives it. But this seems to be a very common theme, at least in the degrees that it does contribute to our attraction to other people. So what has recently been found is that when people are getting into relationships and even seeking out relationships that are bad for them, they're trying to replicate the dynamic that they had in a previous relationship, usually during early childhood, or one that was particularly impactful for them, not because it's comfortable, but because they want to reenact that relationship with a different outcome. For example, let's say that your dad was extremely withholding emotionally, and you never really got the approval from him that you felt like you craved, right? But maybe now you and your father are estranged or whatever. You may seek out somebody who is similarly withholding and emotionally distant or hard to please, and then try even harder to please them so that in your mind you can have a resolution to that relationship with your father. And this doesn't have to mean a relationship is inherently toxic and stuff like that. If that was a driving force behind attraction, that doesn't mean it was the only one, and it doesn't mean that relationship can't be healthy. But it does show that you might have some severe trauma in regards to your family and unresolved issues with important relationships in your life that are going to rear their heads in these relationships. And if you are somebody who keeps finding yourself in relationship after relationship that is bad for you, and you know that they're bad for you, ask yourself, what is your mind trying to fix from your past? What piece of history that you can't change do you crave to have a control and different outcome over? Because that might be what you need to address to get into a healthier relationship.
Why am I always getting cheated on? Why am I always attracting the narcissist? Why am I always ending up with the assholes? Is that your fault? Do you deserve that? No, of course not. But there is something within you if there is a pattern in your life, in any capacity, whether it's the men you're dating, the financial situations you're in, whatever you're experiencing a pattern in, you are subconsciously attracting that in some way. So until you go and fix and heal whatever that is, you're going to attract the assholes. You're going to attract the narcissists. You're going to keep getting cheated on. Again, not that you're deserving of this, but you have to like point the finger back at yourself and be like, okay, what is this trying to wake up in me to go heal so that I can attract better?
Do you have a tendency to attract narcissists? If so, listen to this. There's two reasons that you attract a narcissist. One, you're a prophet or a prophetic person. And hear me when I say this, prophets and prophetic people come in ranks. The same is true of demons. So the size of the demon or the rank of the demon that enters into your life represents the rank that you're called to in the realm of the spirit. Prophetically, that is. Number two, you wrestle with idolatry. Now, wrestling with idolatry is not necessarily what attracts a narcissist to you. The fact that you're prophetic is what causes the attraction. But what legalizes or opens the door for the narcissist to enter into your life is idolatry. Believe it or not, sin is idolatry. It's a form of self-worship. It's when you esteem or exalt your will over God's will. The Bible tells us to test the spirits by the Spirit to see if they are of God. This is exactly what Satan does. You are a spirit inside of a body. He will test to see if your spirit is surrendered and committed to God. Now, you can surrender to him through salvation, but not commit. This still gives the narcissist, or better yet, the Jezebel spirit that's in the narcissist, the legal right to enter into your life. In the book of Revelation, God said he gave Jezebel space to repent, but she would not. Don't get caught up in the he's and the she's. The Jezebel spirit, which is in a narcissist, can be in a man or a woman. But that's one of the characteristics of the narcissist, aka the Jezebel spirit. They cannot and will not repent. In other words, they don't take accountability for anything. They're haughty and prideful. In their world, you exist solely to satisfy their desires. To worship them, that is. After all, you are an idol worshiper. Or were. You see, Satan covets your worship. This is why demonized people are attracted to idol worshipers. They come in and esteem themselves as a god. They grow their value in your life. They make you feel like you can't live without them, that your world would come crashing down if they were to leave it. In other words, they use the cords of your idolatry to strangle you, choke the life out of your worship to Yahweh. Understand this, the narcissist is like a foster child, and you are the person fostering that child. And anytime you don't give Satan what he wants, he tries to take custody of his child, or he threatens to take custody of his child. And then just like that, the narcissist leaves your life. You've made one sacrifice after the other, but here's the thing about a deity. It has the ability to reject or accept your sacrifice. At some point, your sacrifice will be rejected. That's unless you're willing to give up your life. You're back on the market again. Still wrestling with idolatry. You got delivered from one demonized person, but get this, there's a law that's going to come into action. The Bible says when an unclean spirit leaves a man, not just talking about a male, it's talking about a human. When an unclean spirit leaves a man, it goes looking for rest, but finding none, it says, I will go back to the place from whence I came. That's you. And it comes and it finds that place empty, swept, and garnished. And it goes and takes 7 spirits more wicked than itself. And they enter and dwell therein. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. That is the return of the unclean spirit. And that deals with rank. You see, anytime you overcome a demon, you go up in rank. But if you still wrestle with idolatry, the next narcissist you come in contact with is going to be 7 times worse than the last narcissist. And what makes it easy for this particular spirit to return to your life is the last guy, for example, may have been an overt narcissist, but the new guy is covert, appears to be harmless. He says hallelujah. The Bible says that Satan does disguise himself as an angel of light. If you know you're dealing with issues in your body, you slowly begin to lose the health of your mind. And if you get rid of that narcissist, you go up in rank while your mental health decreases. That's if you don't surrender to God. And then the next narcissist will be 7 times worse than that one. This will happen until your soul splits, or Satan completely takes over your mind. That's why there's so many schizophrenic prophets and prophetic people out there, many of which you don't know they're schizophrenic. Some of them go into witchcraft, others run into churches. But they don't go there to get healed or to get delivered. Power for them is all about revenge. They want platforms and prosperity. They want a bigger sacrifice because the next Jezebel that's coming is a higher ranking one, meaning it has a bigger appetite. Lastly, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. James 4:7 says, submit yourself to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. One of the ways to resist the narcissist is to simply not enter into the realm of sin. Don't give him a sin offering. For example, by presenting your body as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service, you make it nearly impossible for the narcissist to create a soul tie with you. A soul tie, once it hardens, becomes a noose, and that noose becomes a yoke. This is why it's so hard to get away from them. And remember this, in the book of Revelations, God said that anybody who committed fornication or adultery with Jezebel, he would cast them onto a bed of woes. Sound familiar? That's why your life has been hell ever since you allowed the narcissist to enter into it. After all, the bed of the narcissist is called judgment.
In my veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got